All right, so for chocolate Italian ices, now remember there's no dairy in this, so what, oh, that's the machine I was going to use.
Yes, you continue.
Okay, just pour it over you and...
That'll work.
All right, the ingredients, I guess some of you noticed I brought this with me today. This is...
My guys left the gasket out.
This is one of the secret ingredients in the world. This is Ghirardelli chocolate powder. I use the dark chocolate powder, which this is, and the white chocolate powder. Little pricey, but my philosophy is spare no expense. So this 30-pound box is about $100.
Cover gasket.
Sounds like a lot, but it is.
While he waits.
No getting around it. Now you can use, before I discovered this, I used cocoa and sugar, which is a great substitute. I used good Hershey cocoa and sugar. This sort of takes the place of that, although it's not as high in sugar, but the flavor is true Ghirardelli chocolate, which I like it and my customers like it. The ingredients we're going to use, I started to tell you about Ghirardelli chocolate, so we'll use Ghirardelli chocolate as the basis for the Italian ice. We'll use a gallon of water. We'll use 4 ounces of vanilla. I put in, my philosophy is 1 ounce of vanilla per quart of product going in. So if we're using 4 quarts of water, we'll use 4 ounces of vanilla. Little pricey, but I believe it makes a difference. Okay, what else are we going to use? We'll use sugar, which we'll talk about later, and we're going to use some fudge. So that's it. So first we'll pour in most of the 1 gallon of water, not all of it.
See what Jeff did? He checked to make sure that the gate was closed, because the last thing I did when sanitizing the machine was have the gate open. And if you forget to close it, you're in there pouring in the water and you're looking around going, why is the machine leaking? I got to call Steve, there's a leak. And it's because you forgot to close the gate. And see how he spills? If you put the bucket above the lid, you won't spill. But some people get so set in their ways. Are you going to adjust the formula for all that you lost?
Yes, by doing this.
All right. Hey, it works.
The chocolate powder, I've got some hot water here. You don't get hot water in Florida. You don't get cold water. You get tepid water. But anyway, we'll just give it a little. Now, to be really honest with you, I don't do this in my store. I put it right in the machine. I got to tell you, and not because he makes them, but I've been all over, and all you have to do is throw everything in the machine. It does it. But today, we'll do it this way because probably you should, right? But I don't. How much chocolate did I use? Half a pound, 8 ounces. 8 ounces of chocolate. And just like the sugar, now I know he dilutes it, but I'm in the real world. And what I do is I turn the machine on, and I add the sugar while it's sloshing around. And it does the same thing as mixing it there.
And the reason you don't do it is that sugar acts like sandpaper. So instead of getting 5 years out of the blades, he may only get 3 because he's grinding the blades with that sandpaper he's pouring in. If you dissolve it first, that doesn't happen. But I got to say, a lot of people do that, and they're willing to trade off buying blades every 3 years.
I get it free anyways.
No, you don't get it free.
No,
we send you
don't.
bills, but you don't pay them.
But you could mix it with the water. Maybe it's the right way to do it. All right. But what I do is I have the machine running whenever I add stuff, because I don't like it settling down and then starting to churn it. So right now, that sugar's done mixing already. Now we're going to add the chocolate powder and hot water. How much? You had to refer to your notes? It was like 30 seconds ago.
Jeff, how much sugar was in there?
How much sugar is in there? You gotta look at your notes. Well, I don't have my notes here. I think it's 2 pounds. 2 pounds. Now, look, we didn't get it all. So what are we going to do?
Put that water in.
No. What?
I don't know. The water.
No, all the water's in the machine. Yeah, of course. What you're going to do is just take a little out. Whoa, what happened there?
Well, you're supposed to turn the machine off before you take anything out that's so liquid.
New sneakers.
So now I'm back to now I'm back. Yeah, well,
New
you did
sneakers.
It. I got to go find a mop now.
Holy cow. See, I'm used to working on the big boys. This is a little like toy machine here. We'll add the vanilla. How much vanilla? All right, so we'll add the rest of this stuff here. Where are you going with that mop? Now I can stop all this by lowering the beating action, which we'll do post-maturely. We'll lower it, right? That's what you're supposed to do. Lower it down while I'm adding stuff and everything, then bring it up to speed?
That'll be fine.
Okay. The last thing we'll add is some fudge. You don't have to, but it's a nice thing. I'm big on sweetness and a lot of flavor. That's enough fudge. Like I said, this is not exact. And that's what I face most of the time. Tomorrow, when I do the class, yes, there are recipes we're going to follow, but when it comes out, like you just tasted some of that Banana Mounds cream ice. Now, half of you thought it was too sweet. Half of you thought it could have used more flavor. You're going to make that decision because you're going to taste it when you get your formulas down. And I'll show you how to make formulas later. It's critical to the business. Now that all our stuff's in there, almost, we're going to add the rest of this. We'll bring it up to, what is ice is at?
234.
234.
Can you hand me that timer,
Full speed
please?
ahead, Captain. Hand you what?
The timer?
Oh, you don't need this.
Well, we get busy talking. That's the only reason.
Well, you should always be checking your machine for the product.
Yeah, that Jeff brings up a point. I didn't say good point. I don't want to give him any credit. But you're here to make ice cream, ices, gelato. This is your ice cream room. You're in here for the next 3 hours making product. Don't try to serve the public. Don't take phone calls. Don't see salespeople. Your job is to make your product. Put a nice sign out there that says, "We love the public, go away." Because it's important that you have consistency in the business. The stuff that you made, the products that you made a year and a half ago have to be equally as good as what you're making today. And if you're sidetracked trying to do 5 things at once, you're going to make mistakes. Just watch my videos. You'll see all the mistakes in the world. So Jeff is right. You don't really need a timer because you're going to do... Can I turn this on?
Yeah.
Okay. You got to remember to turn on the machine, too. Helps.
Now, I'll show you one thing I do, which will save you scads of time. 2 little tricks. One is get yourself a roll of that inexpensive rubber shelf liner with the holes in it, you know, that thin stuff. Is this an oil painting or an audience here? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Get yourself some of that and put it on your shelf so nothing slips off with any vibration of the machine. The other tip is to take a nice towel and just put it on the floor. No, I'm serious. you'll see me do it tomorrow, because then it's always absorbing. There's always going to be spills. In my store, I don't have a floor drain.
We have a bunch of them. They're behind us. Oh, it's the turkey man. You can't see this, but our sound engineer is wearing a turkey hat. Is he making comment about us?
I don't know. Anyway, I don't have floor drains. And even if I did, I always throw a towel down or one of those Bed Bath & Beyond absorbent mats, and I work like that, because now anything that happens, rather than call Mop Boy here, all I do is that and leave it there. And it's fine. At the end of the day, I pick it up, put it in our bin, and it gets washed that night. So that's Italian ices. Now, the most critical thing is, before it becomes Italian ices, to do your tasting. This is where your product is going to differ from her product, because you're going to think it needs more sugar. She's going to think it needs more chocolate. Whatever it is, this is the time. So, and all you have to taste is nothing. That's blank grape. So that's it. And there's no dairy in this. So technically it is a dairy-free product.
Come on, put it back
Not
on.
that matters. You know, sell what you sell. It's dessert.
I just want you to see what we're laughing at, because we're not laughing at you, the audience. This is our chief sound engineer, IT man, everything, and this is what we're having to look at in the window while you're watching this video. What's next? Captain America? Thanks, Ken.
Okay, so if you
I
want
pay
to
him
write
too
this
much.
down, what we made this was 8 ounces of Ghirardelli chocolate powder, a gallon of water, 4 ounces of vanilla, a half a pound of fudge that was a little light because I dropped the container, and 2 pounds of sugar. Now remember this formula, because when we do my next segment where we bump this up to cream ice, you'll see that everything stays the same except for that little ratio of water to dairy, and that's all it is. So understand that you can make any flavor you want. If you make mango Italian ices, the same formula will give you cream ices as well, just switching out usually 1/3 of the water for dairy. Now, that being said, a very good friend of mine, where I grew up down in Fort Lauderdale, opened a dessert store. I'll leave it at that for now. And he has a freezer, that exact freezer, in the back of his store with 8 tubs of ice cream. The same 8 tubs of ice cream have been there for 6 years, because he sells one product, cream ice. Cream ice. A lot of people in parts of the country have no idea what cream ice is, but let me tell you something, cream ice is a miracle. He has 55 flavors of cream ice. You name it, he's got it in cream ice. And cream ice will do 2 things for you if you're starting your business. It'll knock your costs way down, it'll save you time in making product, and the arduous hours and everything, it's going to cut down on that, because cream ice takes a lot shorter to make, but it's going to give people a product that they love, and it's higher profit for you. So think about it. Italian ice is the highest profit potential in the dessert business, but next is cream ice. Italian ice, yeah, they know about it in Ypsilanti, Michigan. They don't know about cream ice. So if you're thinking of starting a place, think about cream ice. That's what Steve's zeroing in on today, making cream ice.
A couple of things I want to show you. We've put, since I came out with the CB 350 3 years ago, we've sold over 3,000 of these. And they have gone to families who, quite frankly, didn't have the money to get into business, but they didn't want to do nothing. They wanted to make an income for their family, and they buy this size machine because it's very affordable, and they start up in business, and they end up running at 16, 18 hours a day. The machine can easily take it. It'll run 18, 24 hours a day for the next 45 years. But the point is, it gets them into business. We try to get them into selling Italian ice because it's so inexpensive. And then they get to the point where they say, you know, if I wasn't in front of this machine for 18 hours a day, I could be going out and getting more clients. Well, by that time, they're bringing in good money, and they then graduate up to a larger machine, which will cut them down to 4 or 6 hours. But it's all in steps. You spend as little as you have to get going. Let's say you start off with a push cart, which is just a wood box with signs on it and wheels. Really nothing to it. You can buy some very nice ones. There's a company called C as in Charlie, C. Nelson Manufacturing. And Nelson Manufacturing makes some beautiful push carts that the walls are filled with salt water or similar antifreeze, and you can freeze it down overnight. You plug it in, and then the walls stay cold all day while you're out there with the push cart. Well, that's a little more expensive, but it's fabulous. But if you only have just a box on wheels, in the old days what we would do is we'd have the tub of ice and we would surround it with dry ice. Well, dry ice is getting hard to get, and it's getting expensive. So here's a solution that I found by a company called Carlisle, and that is, well, imagine you're making lunch for your children, and you've got the blue ice that you throw in the lunch pail. You froze it down overnight, and you put it in with the lunch pail, and it keeps the sandwich cold. This is the same idea. This is double-walled and filled with blue ice, and you take this and you put it in your freezer tonight and freeze it down, and then tomorrow you put that in your push cart, put your tub in there, and that's going to be good for about 4 or 5 hours. No other refrigeration, no dry ice, and then tonight, and so maybe you own 4 or 6 of these, and then tonight you put these back into your inexpensive Sears chest freezer, and you're good to go for tomorrow. So we have all sorts of different ways to save you money to get you into the ices business. When Jeff talks about it being profitable, what we're making today is going to cost well under 10 cents for a 4-ounce portion. It's going to be more like 5 cents, maybe 6 cents. But let's call it 10 cents for a second. 10 cents, and the minimum price you would sell a 4-ounce scoop for is $1.50. You're making $1.40 every time you sell an Italian ice. That's an unbelievable profit. And look at your ingredients: tap water, sugar, and then flavor. Go ahead.
Now, the other side to that, there's always 2 sides to that. The other side is you can't charge $6 for a cup of Italian ices, where you can for ice cream. So everything's relative.
I'll be showing you when you pull that out how to charge $6 for an Italian ice, because it can be done. But that's the beauty of ices. You do it, okay? But ices are so profitable, and on a hot summer day, as I mentioned before, ice cream in this heat and humidity can make you sweat. It can give you a stomach ache. There are not nearly as many ice cream parlors here in Florida as there are in New England, and it's because of the temperatures. But when you're eating sugar water, whether it's at SeaWorld and Disney and Universal, our customers, in the form of frozen lemonade, or you're eating Italian ice or cream ice, or as in Philadelphia they call it Italian water ice, it's all the same stuff. It's cooling you off from the inside out. In fact, the amusement parks found out they're up to about $80 for a ticket. Excuse me. So a family of 4 goes to an amusement park, and they're paying all this money for the day. And you know children, by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, they're tired, they're cranky, they're dragging, they're hot. And the father is thinking in the back of his mind, I just paid $80 for each of these kids to be here, and they all want to go home. Well, you buy them, in the amusement parks we do frozen lemonade, which is lemon Italian ice, but in a large cup with a spoon. You hand that to a child, and it takes them about 15 minutes to eat it. So they're sitting down, they're eating this cool, refreshing sugar-water combination. It cools you from the inside out, and they're ready to go play in the park some more, so you get your money's worth out of the day. I mean, that's a wonderful product.
You have squeeze cups?
Squeeze cups. I do have squeeze cups. This is a product made by Solo, and Jeff knows the lingo, but if you call up, that's what it looks like. If you call up your local paper supplier and say, I want squeeze cups, they're going to look at you like a deer in the headlights. It's called a pleated, like a lady's dress, a pleated water cup. And the beauty of the pleated water cup or squeeze cup is we fill this with ice, so that's a 3.5 ounce cup, and we're going to overfill it, so it's going to be 4 ounces, and you eat it like this, and you eat it from the bottom, squeezing it up from the bottom. It's a lot of fun. And there's no cup involved, there's no spoon involved, it's just this very inexpensive piece of paper. And it's a fun way to eat it. So these are sold in different sizes, and this is the way in New York we sell Italian ice. Jeff said you can't get $6 for Italian ice. I most certainly can. I go to any fancy French restaurant or Italian restaurant or whatever, and I put on the menu that we're going to have fresh chocolate sorbet tonight. S-O-R-B-E-T, pronounced sorbet, or the Italians call it sorbetto. You put it into a nice dish like this, and you put 4 ounces in there, and you're getting $6 for a dessert. And it's absolutely fantastic.
Raise your hand. How many people own Italian restaurants? No. How many people here own a frozen dessert store?
Don't listen to him. So you can sell it like this for $1.50. You can sell it for $5 in a 16-ounce cup in an amusement park, or you can sell it like this for even more than that. It's all the same product. Flavors, I use 3 different levels of flavors. I just wrote an article about this for the National Ice Cream Retailers Association, NICRA. And in it, I said I use 3 levels of flavor. I use fresh and fresh frozen fruit, which you're going to see me do. That's the top level. I use a base, which is a gallon jug of flavor for flavors I can't readily get. If I'm in Dubai and I want to have mango, the easiest way is going to be a gallon jug of mango flavor. And then the least elaborate, but still necessary, and this is when the tree huggers say, oh, no, I'm not going any lower than fresh or a base. And I say, well, what about bubble gum? Or what about cotton candy? You know, I heard that the cotton candy crop got wiped out this year because of the snows up north. So we're in trouble. You can buy cotton candy extract. Just like Paula buys vanilla extract to bake a cake, you can buy cotton candy extract, and the formula is just so simple. In this size batch, which are you watching that? Is going to be about an ounce at the most of cotton candy or an ounce of bubble gum. 1 ounce to the sugar and water, your food cost drops down to half a penny an ounce. That 4 ounce portion costs 2 cents. And why would you do it? Because kids like cotton candy. Kids like bubble gum. Even the finest chefs, if you ask a chef what's the hardest dessert for them to make, they'll tell you it's anything with cantaloupe, watermelon, or honeydew. Because if you take a cantaloupe and squeeze it, all you get is water. There's no flavor to it. There's flavor when you eat it, but if you condense it, there's nothing. So a chef will use a cantaloupe extract in order to make something with fresh cantaloupe. And I do the same when I make cantaloupe Italian ice. I'm cutting up big chunks of cantaloupe and putting it into the machine, but also adding a little cantaloupe extract to bolster it. Is it a chemical? Yes. Do I want to sell cantaloupe ice that's going to taste something better than sugar water? I do. So I'm not 100% purist. What do we got?
Ready?
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Ready?
Just show everybody, if I can. If you can zoom in on that, Ken. Watch this. See how that comes off? Turn off the refrigeration. Take her away, boss. And if you can stand to the side. You turned off the wrong switch.
Up high?
Yeah, leave it up all the way high. Yeah, open the gate. Now, if you can stand to the side so they can see it. Look at that. And wait till you taste this. I tell you, it's addictive. It is the most refreshing product. And everybody outside New York goes, ew, chocolate ice? When you try it, you won't believe it.
Where are those pleated water cups?
I handed you, there they are.
You handed me nothing.
And I'm just speeding up the machine to get the last bit out. Makes a lot of product for that little 6-quart machine.
Okay, if you want to try it.
Come on up and try it. I think you'll like this. Now, you don't need a spoon. Just squeeze it up from the bottom.